trying to be flexible, but also having to come to terms with that closure that we never really felt because of the pandemic. What kind of got you out of that space? And not to say that, everyone's completely out of it and we're all like totally fine. You have your days, but for me, I would say just talking with my peers who experienced it, it's easy to, I'm grateful I have incredibly supportive parents, but it's, they weren't in college during that time and they didn't understand that like, I felt like I wasn't going anywhere because, of this pandemic. And I felt like my prospects out there weren't looking too bright. So for me, it was really about talking to my peers and just venting. I also learned that reaching out to people asking for help obviously is I think the best way I can put it. But also talking to, my career coach or people at IU that understood what I was going through, but also my professors too, because we were kind of figuring this out as it went. And so were they. This, is not normal. So I think just talking for me to people I was close with and who had experienced the same thing really helped me. Were there any other resources that you guys turned to help you through this?
I just kind of really tried to be like honest with myself and like those around me about my mental health. Cause like, which is like, I feel like it used to be, or like, it might still be kind of like stigmatized to admit when you're like not doing okay. And like, it took like some like process for me to like realize that, but it got to the point, like, especially in the fall when I was like sad because like I wasn't graduating, I like just emailed one of my professors. She's like my mentor. I love her. Her name's Kelly Berkson.
Kelly.
I love her. Go Kelly. I just like emailed her and I was like, look, like your class is fun and I love you, but I like can't do it right now. Like I can't go to class. Like, can you please record it? Like I'll do an assignment. Like I'll write something up to prove that I like am here and I'm like doing it afterwards. But like, I cannot find the motivation to like go to this class right now. And then she was like she almost like thanked me for telling her that I wasn't doing okay. And I was like, that was just so like, I don't know, refreshing instead of being like, no, like come to class or like you can use a skip or something. Like she was like, yes, I'll record it, I'll post it, and you'll still have an absence because you're like being honest or whatever. And I was just like, I cried. Like it was very emotional for me. I just like that support, I feel like is something that you definitely need, whether it's like from your peers, like you said, or like for me, like this adult that I like valued her opinion so much, and for her to be like, thank you, like don't come to class, like be okay first and then come to class. Cause like I wasn't gonna, even if I were there, you weren't gonna be actively like listening or even participating. So it's like pointless for me to be there if I'm not gonna be like engaging at all. Cause it's like stuff that I enjoy. I just like wasn't in the mental state to like process it or like enjoy it as I'm being taught, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah. No, thank you for that. I'm so glad that, an adult in that position actually, valued your honesty too. That's really refreshing to know. Did anyone else have any resources?
I think what's difficult, also that's like you said, Mary, that's fantastic that an adult and that a professor was like so open and forgiving and understanding of the circumstances. Unfortunately, not everyone has those types of people in their life. So their professors weren't understanding. I graduated a year earlier than I was supposed to. So I graduated in 3 years. So for me, graduating out of college in the pandemic, all of my friends were going back to school in the fall, and I was just kind of thrown into this crazy adult life that looked completely different than anyone before me. And also I didn't necessarily have peers that I could talk to who understood or like could relate to where I was at. So I think, I don't know how I processed that. I don't really know if I did. I think I was, and that's like okay to say.
And that's okay. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So I was lucky enough to get a job in June, a month after I graduated, and I like truly just kind of threw myself into work because I didn't know what else to do. And I've kind of grown from there. But it's also important to acknowledge that, like, right, it's just a difficult period, and there aren't always going to be people who are understanding and who are there, and it's a really isolating time. So as much as we are able to communicate with each other, and I know kind of just talking to you all now is even helpful and kind of like therapeutic. So whatever we can do is great.